Momentum might be the greatest attribute of success. Why? It's very simple. If you keep on going, you'll keep on flowing because you'll keep on knowing. But if you stop the work that God is doing in your life, then how could you advance? This is why people never get a second chance. They don't take advantage of the opportunities that God is putting right in front of their face. They see it, but they don't believe it. They hear it, but they don't understand it. They know it, but they don't accept it. Instead, they reject it. You know, most people do this every day. 99.9% of the global population, they're ignoring God's commands on a daily basis. In fact, they're ignoring it on an hourly basis. God is telling you exactly what to do, but there's no way you're ever going to get there until you listen to His voice. But in order to do that, you've got to be still. There's no way you're going to ever have momentum if you're listening to a bunch of different voices that contradicts what God is telling you. Because His laws are permanent, but their words are temporary. While you think that what they're telling you is the truth, what they might be telling you are some lies. Most people cannot distinguish the difference between fact and fiction. They believe anything. They're naive. That's why they're not able to do the things that God is asking them to do. See, momentum is important. If you do the same things over and over again that's going to get you the success that you want for the next decade, then what do you think is going to happen? It's going to get easier. If you do it for 2 decades, you're going to have success. If you do it for 3 decades, you're going to be a legend. If you do it for 4 decades, you'll be remembered forever. You'll have a legacy. And if you do it for 50 years and beyond, you'll be the greatest of all time. But you must not quit. You must not slow yourself down in order for certain people to catch up. Sometimes you've got to let people go. There's a time in my life where I had a bunch of employees. They were good for me 2 years ago, but then I realized that I had to cut them out right now. They were dead weight. They were great people, but they weren't good workers anymore. My production was increasing so rapidly that I had to learn how to cut certain people out that were holding me back. Momentum is the name of the game. And if you want to make it big, you've got to keep at it. You cannot quit. Now, will you get discouraged? Will you start to worry? Will there be times where you'd want to give up? Of course. Even the greatest performers of all time, in every single industry, have thought about giving up. But they didn't. You see, in those dark times, they prayed. They obeyed. They listened. And whether they're following God or Satan, they followed through. If they're following Satan, then they deviled up. If they're following God, then they leveled up. And because of this, they were able to receive their respective success or failure, depending on which master they followed. So what I want you to know is this. Momentum cannot be stopped. When I'm writing my book, I don't just stop to take a bunch of calls out of nowhere and get distracted and forget what I was doing. No. If I have to take a call, I'll make it quick because I know that if it's more than 10 minutes, I'll lose track and lose focus on this book. Now, I've been in situations where I've been held back on purpose by people. But what did I do? I talked to the Lord about it. I consulted Him. I said, Lord, why did this happen? Why did these people come and intercept the plans that you gave me? Why did you allow it to happen? He said, son, the reason why I allowed this to happen is because I knew that you could handle it. I knew that you would learn from these experiences what to do the next time this were to happen again. And because of all those accumulated events over time, it made me become a stronger person. See, when you're persecuted, it doesn't mean you should quit. It means you should keep going. When tough things happen to me, I don't quit. Instead, I hit the gas and I go. Because I know that God is going to be there right where I am. But here's the truth. When you gain trust with God, then it will be easier to gain trust with man. Instead, most people do it the opposite way. They try to gain trust with man, and then when things don't happen the way they think it should, then they call out to God. How foolish is that? That is exactly why most people cannot get ahead. They try to win the favor of humans that will change their opinions in just a few months or a few years, and then they're wondering why they're upset that these people have decided to move a different way. The reality is that men are not constant. The whole subject of our conversation is about constancy. And if you want to be great, you have to be consistent. Consistency will lead to constancy, and constancy will lead to consistency. When you fully understand this, you will gain momentum, and eventually you'll find out that you are unstoppable. Now, once you understand how unstoppable you are, the enemy is going to attack. Why? Because when you reach new levels, you've got to face new devils. You've got to face Satan directly. Here's how I think of it. If you want to make $1 million, you've got to meet Satan a couple times. If you want to make $10 million, you've got to meet Satan all the time. And if you want to make $100 million and up, you've got to meet Satan every time. Because that's exactly how this goes. If you want to play in this world, understand that there's powers and principalities that govern it. And once you learn how to navigate these evil spirits by practicing God's laws, then you'll become the person that He's always wanted you to be. Then you'll have momentum and you'll be able to share the great works that you've done for God's kingdom. And when you finally get to heaven, God will look at you and He will finally say, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." My friends, this is Daniel Alley. I hope you enjoyed this message. Please share it with someone else because I know that it's going to heal somebody. Take care of yourself and always do it big. And remember to always keep your momentum. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.